The year is 1812. Across the Atlantic, Napoleon's ambitions rage across Europe. Yet on the distant shores of North America, another conflict ignites, one that will shape the destiny of a young nation. The United States, barely 3 decades old, finds itself once more at war with Great Britain, the global superpower it had so recently broken free from. The War of 1812, often overshadowed by the Napoleonic Wars, was a pivotal moment in American and Canadian history. It was a test of strength for the fledgling United States, a struggle to assert its sovereignty on the world stage. For the British, it was a distraction from the greater conflict in Europe, yet one they were determined to win. This war, fought on land and sea, raged across the vast expanse of North America. From the Great Lakes to the Atlantic Ocean, from the Chesapeake Bay to the Gulf Coast, the clash of these two nations echoed. It was a conflict marked by fierce battles, both victories and defeats, and ultimately a resolution that would redefine the relationship between the United States and Great Britain. The War of 1812 serves as a powerful reminder of the complexities of international relations, the human cost of conflict, and the enduring legacy of the past. It is a story of courage, resilience, and the enduring human spirit in the face of adversity. Tensions between the United States and Great Britain had been simmering for years, leading up to 1812. At the heart of the conflict lay a complex web of grievances, each thread pulling the two nations closer to war. One major point of contention was the British practice of impressment. Short on manpower for their navy, British ships would stop American vessels and forcibly conscript sailors they claimed were British deserters. This practice, a violation of American sovereignty, infuriated the US government and public alike. Adding fuel to the fire were British trade restrictions imposed during their war with France. These restrictions hampered American trade and angered merchants, further straining relations between the two nations. Moreover, the United States accused Britain of inciting Native American hostility on the western frontier, further fueling tensions. The War Hawks, a group of young congressmen from the South and West, advocated strongly for war. They argued that war was necessary to defend American honor and economic interests and to expand westward into British-held Canada. President James Madison, facing pressure from the War Hawks and a growing sense of national outrage, ultimately asked Congress for a declaration of war against Great Britain. The War of 1812 was fought on multiple fronts, each telling a different chapter of the conflict. On the Great Lakes, American and British naval forces clashed for control. The Battle of Lake Erie, led by Commodore Perry, secured the American Northwest. On the Atlantic, American frigates like the USS Constitution scored early victories. The British imposed a blockade, crippling American trade. Land battles raged along the Canadian border. British and Canadian militia repelled American incursions. The burning of Washington, D.C. in August 1814 was infamous. British forces set fire to government buildings, including the White House. By 1814, both sides were feeling the strain of the protracted war. The British, preoccupied with Napoleon's resurgence in Europe, were increasingly open to ending the conflict in North America. The United States, facing economic hardship and internal divisions, also saw the need for peace. Peace negotiations began in Ghent, Belgium, in August 1814. The resulting Treaty of Ghent, signed on Christmas Eve of that year, essentially restored the pre-war boundaries of both nations. It addressed none of the grievances that had initially sparked the conflict, such as impressment or trade restrictions. Despite the lack of clear-cut concessions, the Treaty of Ghent marked a turning point in Anglo-American relations. With the Napoleonic Wars at an end, both nations could now focus on peaceful coexistence and mutual economic benefit. The treaty paved the way for a century of relative peace between the United States and Great Britain, a stark contrast to the animosity that had characterized their relationship in the decades prior.